between athletes 2.20. Till start. 1 minūte līdz startam atklājiem, un vēlreiz lūdzu visiem atbrīvotāt sevi vai atbrīvotāt līdz. Leave on 5 mark. Foreigner is getting ready. Till start 1 minute. Lūdzu visiem atbrīvotāt sevi vai atbrīvotāt līdz.
Welcome back, everybody. We're in Sigulda in Latvia for the final race weekend pre-Christmas in the IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup. Perched up on the hill there, you can see the elevated start tower of this fantastic track that then wends its sinuous way down the hillside here above the river, just on, well, actually in the centre of Sigulda, just a few hundred metres from the railway station. Second heat of our Women's Monobob World Cup. Season opener was last weekend in Altenburg in Germany, and this a very familiar track for a number of our sliders, but for some it is relatively unexplored territory. So from 18 sleds in the first heat, they will go in reverse order, and we have got an enormously tight lead group. Top 5 covered by 1700s, but the top 4 covered by 400s. Andrea Grecu, silver medalist last year, is 4th. Lisa Buchwitz, winner last year, is 3rd. She's 200s ahead of Grecu, and in this top 4, that's a big margin, because 100th ahead of Lisa Buchwitz is Brianna Walker. Now, she's not had a medal on this track, but she lies in the silver medal position after the first heat. And like everybody else, a few little errors on the run that could be tidied up. Revolution in the second heat might bring her that extra speed. And finally, the last one to go in the second run will be our race leader, Lauren Alter of Germany. Bronze medalist here, tying with Alana Myers-Taylor in February's race last season. She leads by 100th of a second. On back, there is about a 10 sled log jam. Everybody is going to be arm wrestling with each other to try and work their way up the order. From Keisha Love down to Sylvia Hoffman, anything could happen in the second heat. Katy Bar will be trying to overhaul Victoria Chananska, and Georgieta Popescu and Sarah Blizzard with their own private battle outside the top 15. There's Lauren Alter, our race leader, although effectively for the top 4 it is an absolute dead heat. 400ths of a second, you can lose that or win that by sneezing in this run. Brie Walker in second, Andrea Grecu 4th place, two-time European silver medalist on this track. And there's Keisha Love now in 5th place at the moment, Keisha, but the one at the head of that enormous block of athletes to go right down to 14th place. Katy Bar, Lisa Buchwitz, Kim Kalicki having a chat, and Alana Myers-Taylor. Alana a little further down the order than she would probably like in 10th place. Kaylee Humphries returning to racing this year, has only raced on this track once in her entire career, and given how long Kaylee has been competing, that's an astonishing fact. Came here 2 years ago, absolutely loved the place. How have I never been here? I seem to recall her saying. Why did everybody always say stay away from Sigulda? Well, to be fair, it wasn't on the World Cup campaign trail for a long, long while, unfortunately, because it is universally loved. So our starting order then has our 18 sliders in reverse order of their first heat performance. And that means Georgieta Popescu of Romania will be first off, followed by Sarah Blizzard. And finally, you get the second Romanian athlete, Andrea Grecu, before the top 3, Buchwitz, Walker, and Alter. Who's going to win? If I could tell you that, I wouldn't be doing this job, because I'd be luxuriating on a beach in the Bahamas somewhere, having won the lottery lots of times. Race 2, IBSF Women's Monobob World Cup, Sigulda in Latvia, the final encounter before Christmas. And first off, Georgieta Popescu to get our second run underway, the 2020 Youth Olympic champion. First monobob race on this track for her in the World Cup. Finished in 19th place in Altenburg in the season opener last week. 6:10 getaway, exactly the same as she produced in the first heat. She is the first one who will give us an indication of what the track evolution might be like. It's not quite the high gloss surface that it was at the beginning of the morning's race. And that's because the humidity in the air and the refrigeration to keep the ice hard combine to give it a little frosty surface. Looks like she's got a little bit of a tidier run going. There might just be a little bit more grip, a little bit more control for the runners. Speed won't be so high. The issue with the monobobs is not so much the lack of top speed, but just a little bit lack of control. Out of 16, the final corner, slaps the wall hard, comes across the line, 55.37. Came down 55.03 in the first heat. That didn't look quite as untidy. Girls at the bottom will be in the women's race tomorrow, the two break women for Georgetta here and for Andrea Grecu. Drops in, gets down, sits right up by the cowl, chin on the cowl. That's how you drive a normal two-seat bobsleigh. And these are the same size, but there's nobody in the back, and that means controlling the rear runners is quite hard. You can see how frosty the surface looks. Very matte white look to it. Next up, second of our starters. Second and deciding heat here. 4800s ahead of Georgetta Popescu. This is Sarah Blizzard. So the Aussie returning to World Cup action for the second time in her monobob career, with assistance from Anne van Nieuwenhuis. Katie Bile just half visible round the back there. Her sled is waiting. She's next on ice. Lots of go-go-goes. Does she go? 6:05, 6:02 in the first heat. So Sarah spent the last couple of years learning to drive and breaking out into the World Cup this season. 5300s up to 6400s up. Again, looks a little bit more controlled, a little bit less skiddy early on in the run. Ooh, little wave in 11, big slap into 12. Out of 14, needs to come straight, here we go. Oh, long skid. Second best speed, so Georgetta Popescu was cleaner and faster. Good exit out of 15 into 16. Kind of on the right side and across the line. 6100s up, 55.24. That's 7/10 slower than her first heat. A couple of those major errors probably accounting for that. Again, helping with the sleds. There are a lot of track workers down there to help with the sleds, but the push athletes tend to do that as well. See how much further back Sarah's sitting, way back in the sled, arms outreached with long steering ropes in front of her. Whereas Georgetta Popescu is right up against the cowl, the way she drives the normal two-seat sled. But getting the weight over the back axle is really important to have a balanced sled. And Sarah sitting far back plus leaning back, but you need the height to be able to do that. I think if Georgetta leans too far back, she won't be able to see out at all. She's not the tallest athlete. Next up, Austria's Katie Bile. Sarah Blizzard leads early in this second and defining heat from Georgetta Popescu. Wolfgang Stampfer there, the Austrian coach, also helping out the Swiss at the moment. So let's see if Katie can have a slightly tidier beginning to the run. She got in, got down okay, and then corner one had a big looping exit of corner one into corner two. Corner two went really badly for her as well. Much better this time. 3 into 4 is nicer. And then 5 out of corner 6 into the upper labyrinth. 7, 8, 9, and then corner 10. That leads into 11. She's got the best speed so far. Little hit into 12, out of 13, into 14, double pressure 13 is quite an awkward turn to set you up for 14. The exit here really important. Carry the speed into 15, nice and clean from 15 into 16. Try and come in towards the right-hand side of the track. Across the line, 54.41. So again, not quite as quick as her first heat, but it was a lot tidier. Don't think the track is as fast as we saw in the first heat this morning. As the day warms, then you tend to get a little bit more frosting on a humid day. Well, whatever your worries of the track, nice trip to Mr. Biscuits at lunchtime certainly helps. Again, sitting nicely back in the sled. So Katy Bile, the race leader, first 3 of our 18 sleds down. 15 to go as we get to Slovakia's Victoria Czernanska. Tiny sliding nation, but Slovakia with Victoria, the Youth Olympic silver medalist in 2020, behind Georgeta Popescu. She's got the strongest start, does actually seem to have matured into a bit of a better driver than Georgeta as well. 6:08 getaway, 6:05 in the first heat. Controls the height nicely, 1 and 2, little tap 3 to 4. Trickling round these slower corners early on. Out of 11 with the best speed. 4/10 behind Katy Bile though, whoa! And a little late there, still best speed, 3500s back. She was 2400s behind Katy Bile in the start. So there's a lot of speed deficit to undo. Hasn't got enough to take it at the line. No, she drops back, 54.79, 4900s slower than her first heat. So Katy Bile remains our race leader. Victoria Czernanska, second place with 14 to go. Victoria finished in 12th place here in last year's race. A little bit of looping height there in corner 14, and look at the steering, cranked hard on to get it off without rolling. That means she hits the wall on driver's left, takes that double tap, kicks her sideways. So Victoria slips a spot, Katy Bile moves up 1. Katy Bile leading with 14 to go, will be no worse than 15th place then. Bile was 10th last year. And USA's Sylvia Hoffman up next. Only her 4th World Cup race. Hasn't raced here. Made her debut in Altenburg. Best race so far in her career, 9th place in Lake Placid. 5:66. Started 5:67 in the first heat. So excellent starting resilience. 2900s up the moment she sat down. Still has almost all of that in hand. Not as experienced a driver as Katy Bile. Definitely not in the women's bob and not in monobob either. Only the 5th best speed. Doing a little bit more steering, acting and reacting, perhaps, than somebody who's more experienced on this track. Taking a few hits, 1200's back, only the 5th best speed. She's going to drop a spot behind Katy Bile, and does. 54.86. Again, 6700 slower than her first heat. I think quite a lot of that is in the track. That didn't look wildly different to her first run. Quite a few of the same skids and taps. She's frustrated with herself, but it takes time to learn these tracks, and that's the real problem, is that she's got the athleticism, but she doesn't have the knowledge of the tracks. She needs to cut the hood off that race suit as well. I won't say it's like a parachute, but it's not helping. It's less of an issue at the moment when there are so many skids and hits and everything else going on because of her lack of knowledge of the track. But it's something that no athlete really wants. Merry Christmas. Well, come back tomorrow and do more. Sylvia Hoffman, tails, Katy Bile. 13 sleds to go, and here is the first woman on ice this morning, Kelly van Petegem of Belgium. Anne van Nieuwenhuis, her coach, was her former driver in her career as a great woman. Fairly brief World Cup career, has to be said, but converted a couple of seasons ago into driving. Now here she is driving her own World Cup sleds. 586 getaway, 588 in the first heat. So finding a little fraction more, despite the frostiness. The track got nudged away a little there. Didn't panic it too much. Littlest of taps, 3 to 4. 1700s ahead of Katy Bile when she sat down. Is she still in the green? 1100s up. Second best speed. Victoria Czernanska was quicker than anybody through this sector of the track. Oh, little skid just when I thought she controlled it nicely off 14. Best speed though into 15. Not too bad into 16 either. Second best speed. She was 1800s up. She'll have the lead at the line. She does. Evicts Katy Bile from the leader's box. That was a nice looking run from Kelly. It's her first World Cup race here, and her best World Cup result, a 12th place finish in Innsbruck last year. Congratulations being offered there, I think, by Sarah Blizzard. These athletes spend an awful lot of time on the road and in the changing rooms together, walking the track, comparing notes. Yes, they're rivals, but no, they're not deadly enemies. Oh, sounds like Tom Delahunty singing in the background there. Surely that can't be right, is it? Little in-joke there for the great TDLH. As we get to Cynthia Appiah of Canada now. Cynthia in 12th place, and this is where the knife fight starts to get into the top 5, because Cynthia 3800ths off the lead, 5th place 1700ths off the lead, so less than a quarter of a second, covering 12th to 5th, 8 sleds. Work that out yourself. There's barely an average of 3/10 between them. 567 getaway, 566 in the first heat. She can tidy up a couple of the errors that crept into a run in the first heat. She's got a real chance of a top 6 finish here, Cynthia. Ooh, little skid out of 12. Comes nicely out of 14. Into 15 pretty well. Taps into 16, in the middle, nice smooth line, only the 4th best speed. She's going to have the lead by nearly 0.6 of a second over Kelly van Petegem. Okay, and this is where it begins. This is where the dogfight starts. Cynthia didn't complete the race last year, so she's put that behind her at the very least. Little tap 11 to 12, got a skid going into 12, but look at this out of 14. No panic, no hard steering, just takes the little drift. Why is nobody coming back tomorrow? Or are they just getting the Christmas wishes in early? So Cynthia Appiah leads. She will be no worse than 12th. Next up, Kaylee Humphries, winner on this track in her only previous appearance in a monobob. She took gold ahead of Kim Kilicky and China's Ying Qing. Of those two others, Kilicky is here, Ying is not. Not sure what's happened to China's monobob program. So Kaylee Humphries, we know she can still drive up a storm. She showed that in Altenburg. She showed it already in the first heat. Doesn't have her speed at the start, but as a new mum, that is only to be expected. 5.95. So started 5.93 in the first heat. But listen to the run. Teeniest of touches into 4. No big hard double slap, just the tiniest of breaths against the wall. No question at all. This is a woman who can really get a sled down a driver's track. She's well placed in the sled. Little tap 11 to 12. Nicely out of 13, right down the centre into 14. Little flop on the exit. Runner check coming into 15. Best speed. Slender advantage now from 2/10 behind Cynthia Appiah. She was 800s ahead of her in the first heat, 1300s. They don't do Glühwein here, but Scheimer's been on something, isn't he? Kaylee Humphries will be no worse than 11th here. Seventh in Altenburg. Altenburg, I think, probably of all, her most favourite track. This has got to be in there swinging as well. This is a track that suits her so well. Late off 14. She wasn't worried about the roll. She just didn't want to be steering and cutting ice. And that's what those decades of experience give you. There's Travis and Baby Alden as well at the track. Kaylee Humphries leads from Cynthia Appiah and Kelly van Petegem. 10 to go in Sigulda. It's not a bad morning here. You can see the Latvian flag on the top of the star bill. There's Travis and there's Baby Alden. What a great smile he's got. And Travis. Such a cute kid. There's a great view in the area down below the start where the sleds gather, because they have to go up in the elevator. It just about takes a couple of two-man sleds. Such an interesting layout here. They had to get the elevation for the speed. There you are, all the athletes chatting to each other. Just before they go on ice, they focus, but the rest of the time, it is genuinely a happy family. It's a really remarkable thing in sport that you get so much competition, but in so many sports, athletes are able to separate the competition from the person. And bobsleigh is like so many other sports, and skeleton is like so many other sports in a way, in that nothing that your rivals do can actually affect your race unless you let it. So it's all within yourself. This is like downhill skiing, it's like being a sprinter, it's like being a swimmer. You know, you're in your own lane, you're in your own zone. Doesn't matter what anybody else does. You do your thing, you be the best you, and if the best you is the best there is, then you may well end up winning it. But you know, motor racing is a little bit different. You can use your car, use tactics to your advantage. Kaylee Humphries and Baby Alden, first time in the leader's box. Bless him. Looks like he's not really enjoying Ilko's Christmas jumper either, but there we go. Alana Myers-Taylor, not Kaylee Humphries with the goggles on. Alana Myers-Taylor at the top of the ice, Kaylee Humphries in the leader's box. We will have a US leader after this. We're in race 2 of the IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup in Sigulda in Latvia, second and deciding heat. And Alana Myers-Taylor, who tied for bronze here last year, in 10th place after the first of our 2 heats today. 5:76 getaway, 5:74 in the first heat. It's a frostier track, it's a frostier start area. I don't think anybody's really going to outstart their first getaway. And so far, nobody's got really close to their first run down time either. Nice smooth lines from Alana. Out of 13, let's see how she fares. Out of 14 is very nice. Second best speed, 33 hundredths up, holding that third of a second advantage over Kaylee Humphries from the start, but a big, big moment in 16. Gathers it all up across the line, 26 hundredths up. Ooh, that was what put 10 years on Scheimer and given him a near coronary as well. Well, that was wild going into 16. She got very crossed up from 15 into 16. And whoa boy. So out of 14 here, not looking too bad. Just gets that little tap on the exit and gets straightened up. But it was into 16 where the big dramas came. So this is out of 15. Gets that little touch as she goes out of sight. Sleds get pushed over to the left-hand side, and then she's trying to get it up onto the corner. Whoa. She didn't want to go straight up to the roof, and she didn't, but oh boy, oh boy is right. You see Kim Kalicki behind the scenes. Next up, though, is Switzerland's Melly Hasler, 100th ahead of Alana Myers-Taylor from the first heat. And she is tied to the 100th with Kim Kalicki. So this is 3 sleds in a battle covered by 100th of a second. 5:71 getaway, 300ths quicker than her first heat. Little tap, oh, that's not good, 1 to 2. That wipes off a bit of speed early on. Seems we're getting a little more of some of these early corners than the other sleds. Their speed, though, out of 13 into 14, key changeover. Gets nicely out of 14, 600s up. Second best speed. Oh, little skid, but if she's clean, she's not really clean onto 16. She's got slightly better speed, should be the lead at the line. 1800s. So she had a little bit of a weavy, crossed up entry into 16 and a big skid off it as well. Catty Biles sled dogging. And again, covered in ice. The brakes are in front of the driver in these sleds rather than in behind the driver in front of the brakeman, as it would be in a 2-seat women's bob. That means that when you haul the brakes on, the rakes dig into the ice and all the ice comes straight in up at you. Well, into 16, it wasn't quite as dramatic as Alana Myers-Taylor. More dramatic than she would have liked, though. Melly Hasler leads, and we have 8 to go. And with an advantage of absolutely 0.1 of a second. Next up, Kim Kalicki. So they were tied for 8th place. Kalicki Didn't race here last year. Silver medalist in February 2023, though, behind the winner, Kaylee Humphries. She had a 4th place finish last weekend in Altenburg. A little way to go to get there here, though. Drops in at 5.74, 300s quicker than her first heat as well. So still tied to the 100th. No advantage over Melanie Hassler and no loss. Now she just drives herself into a very slight lead, and that was those little early corner errors from Melanie Hassler that cost her that. So Kiliki with a slender advantage. So we get into the second part of the run. They're really quick stuff down at the bottom. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Best speed of all, 600s up. She'd been 600 faster in the first heat. She'd have been 4 places further up the order, 3 places rather, in 5th place, 53.75. So she was 1100s quicker than Melanie Hassler on that run. And actually, all she needed to do that was match her down to 15 and not get sideways into 16. So this is 11, a little bit of a big first pressure onto 11. Came out nicely though. Well, like almost everybody, you can see all the black marks down the side there, takes the tap. Out of 14, late steer. Kind of gets away with it, didn't get too much of a tap going into 15, and was clean into 16 as well. And it's 14 on down that's worth 1/4 of a second if you get it right, and cost you the same if you don't. So Kim Kiliki leads from Melanie Hassler and Alana Myers-Taylor, 7 to go. And here's Margot Bock, who had the enormous advantage, you can see on screen, of just 100th of a second over the pair that were tied behind her. So the Frenchwoman really needs to produce the goods here. She could be in the top 6. She could be as low as 10th after this run. Not after this run, but at the end of it. She could lose 3 or 4 places very easily because they're racked up so tightly. 5.95 getaway, now 5.88 in the first heat. So that's not as convincing a start as she produced in the first run. Little tap into 4. 4/10 back. I don't see her holding her position from this early going. She did produce great speed in the first run, but early on she was tidier. Quite a substantial hit into 12, little clip going on to 13 as well. Clean into 14, clean out of 14, 3rd best speed only. 4,500s back. She's going to drop behind Kaylee Humphries. Certainly behind Alana Myers-Taylor. 4th of the line, 5th of the line. Oh, squirms across the line. 54.18. Bruno Michon on the left, Max Robert on the right. That's a disappointment for Margot Bock. The first run was such a good one. Top 6 finish was within her grasp. She was where she was in the first heat. She was on for a World Cup personal best. Her previous best monobob result in World Cup had been an 8th. 7th after the first heat. But with 6 to go, she has dropped to 4th place. No guarantee that everybody will get a clean second heat. So she'll be no worse than 10th. And again, ducks ahead, and then hadn't really got the sled online, hit the wall. Comme ci, comme ça, as I believe they say. 6 to go. Now, 2200s out of the medals, Melissa Lottholtz. And her target will be to try and overhaul Keisha Love in front of her. She's got 500ths of a second in hand over our current leader, Kim Kiliki. Second ever World Cup start in women's monobob. For Finished in 10th place in Altenburg, and if she can get another tidy run here, this will be a big improvement. 5.61 the getaway, 5.65 in the first heat. So she finds another 400s at the start alone. Little early tap, little tap into 4, not a big hit. 800s up from 18. So Kiliki very clinical and clean early on in the run. She's dropping into the red, only the 7th best speed, and she's in real trouble there. Gets away with it. Well, that will really have the spidey senses tingling. Not reacting at all well to the change in the track conditions, and again very late off 15. Well, getting it down is what it's about now after those two big warnings. Drops into 5th place with a 54.30. Look, she's a rookie driver, 2nd ever World Cup, and that was 2 very big get-out-of-jail cards. She was in trouble there. Well, Mel drops to 5th with 5 to go. It's a top 10 finish, her 2nd in a row. But look at this. Gets tapped away onto the wrong side, skids in, and then just gets away with it. And then again out of 15, came down too early, got rolled up the wall. And in a women's bob, that might have gone over in either of those. All right, there we go. You can only learn by doing it in this sport. There are no simulators. 5 to go. Kim Kiliki, Melly Hasler, and Alana Myers-Taylor, the top 3. So Keisha Love for the USA, 5th after the first heat, 1300s out of 4th place, 1500s away from the medals. It's a big leap to try and make for a still relatively inexperienced driver. She finished in 5th place here in February. She was in 9th place in Altenburg. If she can take the lead away from Kim Kiliki, this will be another massive feather in her cap. 5.67, started 5.66 in the first heat. She's going to have to be very clean and clinical early on here to keep that speed on board. She's still got most of her advantage over Kiliki. With 1700s when she sat down, 1400s now, still 1400s, 2nd best speed, but late out of 11. Needs a clean 13, 14, needs to be clean off 14, little tap, only the 7th best speed, 1400s up, not enough speed maybe to take her into the lead at the line. Is Kiliki going to be the leader? Keisha Love was just 100th in front. Kiliki will lead it. Keisha Love in 2nd, but it is a top 6 result guaranteed for the American. Kim Kiliki leads with 4 to go. And ahead of Keisha Love is where the yawning chasm was in the leaderboard. She was ahead of, what was it, 8 sleds covered by 2200s. 2100s, but ahead of her, it's 1300s just to 4th, 1500s to 3rd. So the top 4 in a tiny little group of their own, and Keisha, just a couple of little rookie errors creeping in. Didn't quite have the polish of Kim Kiliki. Not a bad looking run, 2nd place with 4 to go. Only 900s 1st to 2nd. Now what about Andrea Grecu, silver medalist here last year, the European silver medal. Last year's races here were for the European Championships. She's been a European silver medalist here in women's bobsleigh as well. This is definitely one of her best tracks. 400s cover the top 4. This is effectively a dead heat. This is anyone's race. Whoever has a good run here gets a medal. It's as simple as that. 5.61 getaway, 5.64 in the first heat. with use. It seems that starting groove is a little quicker, a little skiddy there. In corner 2, tap into 4. 3100ths ahead of Kim Kilicky, 3600ths when she sat down. Kilicki's second run was a doozy. Where's the speed going? Only the 7th best speed for Andrea Grecu. She was quick at the bottom. She needs to be very quick at the bottom. It shouldn't be about Kilicki. It should be about trying to find an extra 400ths and take gold. 1200ths ahead of Kilicki. Untidy into 16. Speed's not there. 100th in it. She'll go down as well. Kilicki leads. Kim Kilicki, 2700ths off the lead, a quarter of a second out of the medals, leads with 3 to go. Wow. Didn't reckon on anybody from that far back getting in contention for a medal. Well, it drifted away from Andrea all the way from turn 2. Wasn't a match for her first heat. If it had been as clean as the first run, she might be our leader with 3 to go. She's in second. 600s behind Kim Kilicki. Keisha Love in third, 900s back. Melanie Hassler, 1100s back. Final 3 sleds. Race 2, IBSF Women's Monobob World Cup, Sigulda in Latvia. Buckwitz, Walker, Nolter. Kim Kilicki leads. Lisa Buckwitz, the most successful medal-winning driver in the Monobob World Cup. 10 medals already under her belt. 5:57 getaway, 5:56 in the first heat was the fastest in the field, and only 100th off her own start record from February of this year. That's 200ths off the start record on a frosty Saturday. And this is a good-looking run from Kim Kilicki. Was 4200ths up, is 4600ths up. Little tap. It's not about Kilicki. It's about gold. Buckwitz, third best speed, only a whisker behind Kim Kilicki. This is to try and take the lead and take gold. She was on the left coming in a 16. Not the best speed across the line, 53.56. That's the target time. She was 200ths off the lead in third place. It was effectively a dead heat in the top 4. Yes! I think there was a little bit of frustration. I think she was asking Matthias Herfner what was the start. A 57, not a 56 or a 55 record equaling, not a 54 to beat the record. But if she gets the gold, well, the start record can wait for another year. She does own it still. Look at this, good exit. Nice work. She really, really gets this monobob. All right. Lisa Buckwitz on OnlyFans. Okay. Don't go there now, especially if you're at work. 2 to go. Top 3 covered by 200ths. So Brianna Walker in second place had 100th over Lisa Buckwitz. She was 100th behind Lauren Alter. Good run, takes it all. Well, she had things to tidy up after the first heat as well. Let's see what the Aussies got for us today. Clean out of 1. Clean out of 2. Little square tap into 4. 9th place here last year. A really off-form run, or pair runs for Brianna Walker. Second best speed. Losing ground to Lisa Buckwitz all the way. Second place, Kim Kilicki, is 44 hundredths back. This should still be a medal. 8th best speed for Brie. Gathers it up out of 15. Nice into 16. Speed's coming back. She's not going to take the lead. Second at the line. She's in the medals. Buckwitz leads with 1 to go. See, Pierre Luders does smile. Actually, does smile a lot. He just likes to have that slightly intimidating demeanour. He'd say not. He'd say it's just my resting expression. It's when he's focused, when he's concentrated. But Brianna Walker will take her first medal of the season. She's in second place with 1 to go. It could be Buckwitz, Water, Kilicki. But Brianna Walker is definitely in the medals. It's only her second World Cup on this track as well. Lauren Alter, well, joint bronze medalist in February here. Her only medal on this track. There's Lisa Buckwitz, your race leader. Race winner in Altenburg, Lauren Alter. She's the reigning Monobob world champion, 2-time Monobob world champion. 1 in Samaritz, 1 in Winterberg. Is she going to win here in Sigulda? Is she going to be on the top step of the podium? It will be a German gold medalist. 5:67, a 10th slower than Lisa Buckwitz, so she's 8 hundredths behind, sitting down. Quite a hit into 4. Gaps out to 14 hundredths. Lisa's phenomenal starting power carries her through these early corners. Now Lauren Alter has to make sure she outdrives her teammate. 15 hundredths back in 11. Untidy out of 11 into 12. This is not a gold medal winning run. Late out of 13. Only the 8th best speed. She's 14 hundredths back. She's not going to get it back from here, even with the best speed into the final corner, and she doesn't have it. It's going to be the gold medal for Lisa Buckwitz. Silver, 9 hundredths back from Lauren Alter, and bronze for Brianna Walker. It wasn't the tidy run she needed. Well, bronze last year, silver this year. You can't win them all, that's why it's called racing. But too many little errors. That even 11 wasn't that tidy. Bit of early pressure, and then look at the late exit. Out of 11, hard onto the wall before 12, hard onto 12. Having to control that height, digging the runners into the ice, steering hard on the way off. And into 13, and then it all was just tiny, tiny margins. Marginal gains all the way down from Lisa Buckwitz. She found the run she needed. 200s off the lead in the first heat. She knew she had a great chance. And boy, she knows how to seize them, doesn't she? Lisa Buckwitz, World Cup win number 6. It's her 17th race. It is her 11th medal in monobob. She continues to be the most successful women's monobob World Cup driver. She is happy. Lisa Buckwitz by 9 hundredths from Lauren Alter. Brianna Walker taking the bronze from Kim Kilicki, Andrea Grecu and Keisha Love, with Melanie Hassel, Lana Myers-Taylor, Margot Bock and Melissa Lottholz rounding out the top 10. Just behind them, Kaylee Humphreys, Cynthia Appiah, Kelly Van Pettigum, ahead of Catty Byle, Sylvia Hoffman, Victoria Chidanska, Sarah Blizzard and Georgetta Popescu. So that is the result of the final monobob race of 2024. Next time they're in the sleds, it will be 2025, a brand new year. That will be in Winterberg, the first weekend of January. And carrying her first win will be Lisa Buchwitz. That is win number 6 of her World Cup career in women's monobob. Next most successful, Lara Nolte with 4, Kaylee Humphries with 4. Lara now with 10 overall medals, but Lisa with 11. Lisa Buchwitz and Lara Nolte tied at the top of the points with a gold and a silver apiece at the start of the season. Brianna Walker tied with Kim Kilicki, tied with Andrea Grecu, just ahead of Keisha Love and Kaylee Humphries. And then behind her, Margot Bock, Melissa Lotholz, a 3-way tie for 8th. Melly Hasler, just 8 points off them. Talk about busy. Look at that. Sylvia Hoffman, Victoria Chinanska tied as well after 2 races. And there is your podium. Lisa Buchwitz, the winner in the centre. On your left, Lara Nolte with the pink. And Brianna Walker, the bronze medalist. Well done, ladies. Back in action again tomorrow morning, bright and early, for the women's bobsleigh. But before that, it is the first of our double 2-man race weekend. We'll be back at 1400 local, that's 1300 Central European, 12 GMT, 7 Eastern. That will be for the first heat of the 2-man bobsleigh. See you then.
Lisa, congratulations. Tell us all about your race.
Yeah, I'm really happy about my race. It's the second time for me here that I'm a victory on this track in the monobob. Last year it was the same, and yeah, I'm happy, but I'm not so happy with my start time. It was not the start record. Yes, but I'm really happy, and tomorrow it's another race, and I hope it would be nice, same like today, and yeah, we will hope it would be better.
The first heat was very, very tight. How did you prepare for the second heat?
It was same like the first heat. Yes, it was really tight, and I do my thing, and yeah, I hope that I do a better run than the first run, and yeah, I think the second one was better than the first.
Tell us about the Sigulda track. How hard is it to control the monobob?
It's really hard, I think, but I think in Altenburg it's a little bit more harder than here. I like the track, but it's not so easy to drive here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.